Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and today we are talking about the new Kirby game on Switch 2. Not this one, we are talking about Kirby Air Riders. Nintendo invited me out to PAX West to go hands-on with Kirby Air Riders, as well as a few other games like Pokemon Legends ZA and a few other third-party things, and today we're talking about Kirby Air Riders. Kirby Air Ride is a game that I didn't really grow up with or anything. I don't have a strong affinity or nostalgia for this specific sub-series of Kirby games. Crazy we can call it a series now that there are two. So going into it, I didn't have like the highest expectations or anything. I played the original for the first time last year, and what I appreciate so much about playing that game, having not grown up with it, is that it feels like a GameCube game. I mean this in the best way possible, but like it feels kind of unpolished, a little janky. Clearly they were on more of a strict deadline for that game. Even playing Kirby Air Ride for the first time in 2024, I could tell like, okay, this is a very much a GameCube era game, and Kirby Air Riders feels very similar, even still. If you like Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube, you are going to like Kirby Air Riders because honestly, and you can view this as a good thing or a bad thing, it's basically the same game. There are a couple of very minute mechanic differences, but at least in terms of what they're showing so far in the Direct and what I got hands-on with, this game is nearly identical to the original. Of course, there are more characters, and it's much prettier than the original, and there are different stages, but the actual core mechanics of what you're doing and how you're racing or how you're battling in City Trial and picking up power-ups and just the way the game feels, it is almost like one-to-one. I would need to see like a side-by-side, speed comparison. Maybe the speed is a little bit different in this game, a little bit faster, but the actual game feel of Kirby Air Ride versus Air Riders, I mean, these games are two peas in a pod. They feel very similar, and they didn't really do much new here to evolve it, which is surprising, but I'm kind of okay with it. We're getting Sakurai unleashed from the shackles of Smash Bros, and it's nice to just see him doing something that, I think clearly he wanted to make a new Kirby Air Ride, and Nintendo said, okay, let's do it, and here we are. We're getting an HD Kirby Air Ride. We'll see if there are more modes that we don't know about in the full game. I know they teased some things in the Kirby Air Riders Direct, but let's go ahead and get into my thoughts on like the specific modes and the characters, and once again, the specifics on how the game actually feels. So I got to go hands-on with three separate things. There were a handful of tutorials that they led me through, just showing you how to break and stuff like that, how to turn, how to use your special abilities. That's the big new mechanic in this game, is that when you're defeating enemies on a course or even in City Trial, you're building up a special gauge. You press the B button, and then each character kind of has their own special ability. I really like this change. Kind of just gives the gameplay a little bit more depth when you're actually racing, and I love that each character has their own unique special ability, so you're not just going to play as one character, you're going to check them all out, check out all the different special animations and abilities and stuff like that, so kind of adds more, I would say, excitement to like the competitive side of things of like, okay, I'm going to play as Gooey because he has this ultimate that I really enjoy. So yeah, I got to do some tutorials, very basic stuff, just showing you how the game controls mostly. It was funny, at the public demo I did before I went into like a private area to play the racing mode, at the public demo I was going much faster than the family of people that were playing in my like group of 4, so I finished the tutorials they wanted me to finish way faster than they did, and the Nintendo representative was just like, okay, you can just go ahead and keep playing the other tutorials. So I did a few other things that I don't think I was technically supposed to, but the lady there was very nice. She was like, yeah, you can just do some more tutorial stuff. I did one tutorial that was teaching me about how in this game, and this is a difference from the original, is that enemies and other racers will leave a star trail behind them, and if you follow behind that, you'll get a little bit of a speed boost, very similar to how drafting works, or the boosting in Mario Kart works, and how it has worked for many years. Basically, you just follow behind somebody, you go a little bit faster, so that was kind of cool. But the tutorial, I mean, it just is, very basic stuff. Then I got to play at City Trial. So we'll talk about City Trial first because this is the public thing. This is what, if you went to PAX West or Gamescom, you were able to play for yourself. And City Trial is a mode that I have heard about my entire life of like, okay, City Trial, this is peak, this is Sakurai at his best, this is the mode in Kirby Air Ride that you want to go for. And once again, I didn't play the original until just last year, so not necessarily a mode I have much nostalgia or affinity for. It's interesting. I think I'm gonna really like it online, but it's hard to gauge when you're playing with, in my public demo, maybe some people that don't play as much Kirby or, don't play as many competitive games versus my, private hands-on that was a little bit more serious competition in my group. It's weird. City Trial is such a unique mode. You're just going around in this one big map. There's only one map in this game, which I do kind of wish there was something a little bit more there. Maybe 2 maps, even 3 maps, to be honest with you. But we'll see how the longevity actually lasts when we get our hands on the full game. You just go around this map for 5 minutes collecting power-ups. You have all of the different machines or vehicles that your characters can hop onto. It is more smooth to jump to another vehicle now. In the original game, it was kind of cumbersome. You had to like press a certain amount of buttons and then get off and then get on. Now you can do it much quicker from the vehicle you're already on, just kind of jump over. So that feels very smooth. But yeah, you're basically just driving around, finding vehicles that you think might suit your playstyle or, you know, your strategy, whatever, and then getting upgrades that will suit that machine. So for one of the matches I did, I picked the, it's one of the machines that like focuses on flying. It was in the original game, and then I went for all of the like wing upgrades and speed upgrades, so that at the end of the match I could do the final event that has you gliding as far as you can. And as you can see on screen right now, I absolutely crushed it with the Galactica Knight skin on Meta Knight here. I think I got over 1,000 feet or something. I just kept gliding for a very, very long time, and that was really cool. So there's a lot of strategy here in terms of like picking your machine and then getting the power-ups you want. That is still very similar to the original. You know, this isn't a new thing. You still have your event at the end. In this game, you can kind of pick from 4 that pop up, or you can just pick random if you want. I do like that it says recommended based on your current build and vehicle. That's a nice addition there, so you don't have to really think too much about it. Or as Sakurai said in the direct, you can like maybe play mind games with people and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this one even though my build doesn't necessarily fit that play style. Kind of interesting there. But City Trial is fun. There were a couple times that I got a little disoriented, though, I must be honest. So I'm not sure if this happens in the original Kirby Air Ride, but if you defeat other enemies or players while you're in Air Ride, you can get like a bunch of their power-ups and upgrades. And I already had a lot of speed, and then I took down some other enemy, and he had a lot of speed. And I'll try to find the specific spot in the footage where this happened, but I started flying, like, across the screen at a speed that, I mean, it was completely uncontrollable. I don't really know what happened here, but it was a little disorienting, I gotta be honest. And that actually happened earlier, in an earlier match, not to the same degree, you know, but I was still flying around the map, really kind of unable to control it. I don't know if I like this. It's hard because on the one hand, it's so funny and like it's just like, okay, I'm just flying across the map now. I can, you know, you can't stop me, right? It's kind of funny. But on the other hand, when I think about like the longevity of this game, when we get our you know, our hands on the full thing, and we're talking about like the competitive online scene or just the online community, is a game with this kind of balance actually going to have legs, you know, in terms of like having a vibrant, balanced online ecosystem? I'm not sure. It is funny, like having that happen in a demo, that is cool, but I don't know if I'm gonna want that when I'm playing ranked online City Trial and then randomly I'm just flying across the map because I got too much speed. I don't know. It's a little weird. I do really enjoy being a menace in this mode. I do like hunting down other players and, you know, taking all of their hard work. That is fun. So this is gonna be a mode I do put a lot of time into. I'm just curious, like, with it being only the one map, how much is really there for you to, you know, sink your teeth into? I'm hoping there's like some kind of robust online ranking system or something that can kind of keep you coming back, or unlocks. I'm sure, knowing Sakurai, there will be a full unlock board in this game, or, you know, something like that. But it's an interesting mode. I'm not in love with it the way that, you know, people hold the original Kirby Air Ride and City Trial, you know, in such a certain light. I'm not quite there, but maybe once I get the full game and I you know, really sink some time into it, maybe I will get there with this version of City Trial. But as of right now, I would say it's fine. I enjoyed my time with City Trial, but I'm not necessarily like blown away with it or anything. Now, the final thing I played was the actual Air Ride race. I was able to do 2 races on the basic kind of grassy map as well as the water map where the water's like parting. Sakurai played this in the demo himself. I can't show my footage from this. They weren't allowing recordings for this mode, but I can show you the footage from the direct where they showed it. And this mode I actually enjoy more than City Trial. I know that might be a hot take, but even in the original Kirby Air Ride, I think I had more fun playing this mode than City Trial. Maybe not as much depth or anything, but just the very high speed, high octane racing with the vehicular combat that, you know, they keep saying like, okay, this is a vehicle combat game. Having that in like a racing setting is really fun. I like having all my different Kirby characters. I like being able to go extremely fast through these maps, and sometimes it can be a little hard to control. You really have to master your braking, but having the speed of Kirby Air Ride, but then you also have combat on top of that where you're getting copy abilities and using those to your advantage and sucking up enemies, or you're trying to do like a little spin attack into your enemies and other players. It might not have the most depth, and I mean, this certainly feels very similar to the original game, but I had a lot of fun with it. I'm really looking forward to diving into the full air ride mode when this game releases in November. And then the final thing I wanted to touch on in today's video is something that you've been seeing this entire time, and that is the character roster and overall presentation in Kirby Air Riders. So as for characters, I'm loving what we're seeing here. I'm not like a huge Kirby lore guy. I don't remember a lot of the villains and characters that are in these games, but I know Susie's in there from Kirby Planet Robobot. I love that. Very happy about that. I played as her using one of the alternate colors. I also played as Magalore at one point with the Magalore epilogue skin on, where it's kind of like a gray color scheme for him. Having these modern Kirby characters in here is awesome. I'm hoping the full roster is even crazier, where we get the Star Allies characters and all these other things. So yeah, I really like the character roster and the alternate costumes as well. And then for the presentation, just it's a Sakurai game, and I like the way Sakurai games feel in terms of like the UI, the victory screens, the animations that play. That all feels extremely Sakurai, down to the fonts, down to like the effects that happen when you get first place, and this like kind of, you'll see it on screen. That looks like a Smash victory screen. That's all there. This is a Sakurai game through and through, and just that level of presentation, having these extremely high quality renders of these characters pop up, I'm really into that kind of stuff. So hopefully there's more characters in the full game, and the presentation, yeah, that stuff's really great. I will say, and I mentioned this in my reaction to the Nintendo Direct a few weeks back, visually, I do think this game is a little underwhelming, I will be honest. I'm not getting motion sickness. I've noticed a lot of people mentioning motion sickness if you sit close to the screen. I didn't really have that when I played it, but I do think visually, like, I don't know if it's the lighting engine being very similar to Smash Bros. Ultimate or what, but everything kind of has like a bloom to it that I'm not too sure if I love. Like, the brightness feels a little off in this game. Some of the textures and models feel, almost Wii U era, I want to say. But then you have these moments like on the air ride track where the water's splitting. I mean, that looks absolutely beautiful. And then you go to City Trial, and I feel like the visuals go down quite a bit. You have these special events popping up, but you have this big bird come in, and I don't know, he doesn't look the greatest. So the visuals are kind of a mixed bag for me, where you have these really nice moments, and then other times I'm like, looks a little weird. But overall, I really did enjoy my time with the Kirby Air Riders demo. I am holding a bit of reservation in terms of like what the full game will offer, because I do think $70 for this Kirby spinoff, essentially, right? You need to have more than just the air ride mode and the city trial. I'm expecting more. We'll just have to see to what level that new content is. Is it just going to be the return of Top Ride? Is it going to be some sort of new story mode? I'm not sure, but we need another like third pillar. And Top Ride, I really actually do enjoy. I like Top Ride a lot. I don't think Top Ride is a big enough deal to fill out the rest of this game, but we will see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you were lucky enough to go to PAX West or Gamescom, have you played it? What are your thoughts on the demo so far? Or if you're just watching videos like these and the trailers and the directs over and over, what is your hype level for Kirby Air Riders? I would love to get a conversation going down in the comments below. Of course, you can subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 coverage. I will have a Pokemon Legends EA early impressions video up very soon. I was able to go hands-on with that at PAX West as well. Once again, thank you to Nintendo for inviting me to some demos for this year's PAX. And until next time, folks, peace.